Alright, let's talk a little bit about Factorio and my last two bases. So, this one I didn't have any really thing planned, and the whole idea of this was to start out with a very simple base and then move on to a railroad modular base with a like city block kind of idea. Unfortunately, this got the very end of 0.17 version and the launch of 0.18. So I actually didn't finish when point 18 came out. I kind of wanted to try it, so I let this go, and this is how it ended. So we'll just take a quick walk through. First, the overview. So basically, it was the first time I used the quad rail. Intersections, kind of a mess. I was hoping that this could use as a roundabout, but it kind of messed up the design. Gonna try that out next time. Uh, So yeah, it grew out pretty large. I was mostly ready to start the modular part, which I was gonna go towards this way. That's why I started exploring it, going to the green side so pollution spreads a little bit less. But it's mostly of the same stuff that we've seen before, same designs, not really kind of new pipelines or designs. It's a based belt mall, and then my traditional 30 per second sciences, but then scaled up to the maximum with all of the sciences coming here. Production values aren't great. We're at nearly 55 per minute. A lot of bottlenecks because I didn't plan anything out. I didn't leave any room for the bus. So things get like I don't even know what's going on in this corner anymore. This is the second part of the mall. So first part is over there, and then this is another one which extends up here for like modules, and unfortunately I never got to use it because the idea was to use those in the megabase. So down here's the purple science, production science. This is my concrete base manufacturing. As you can tell, a lot of concrete went to this base. Everything is concreted, and I think the only thing special about this one is the fact that if I show you the electrical grid, everything is based out of the same grid and with the robo parts as well. So within the base, everything follows that pattern except for like the initial steps, which is still using the old light poles and not very good. Then nuclear stuff, mostly weaponry. First time I actually got nukes, which is was a lot of fun to use. And a few nuclear setups. I'm trying to find like a nuclear setup that I like. This is not it though. So this one does not have steam tanks, so a little bit of waste. And then another experiment with it, this one right here. Unfortunately, I did not leave room in the middle to put another column, but probably in the future, something like this with a layer of tanks in the middle probably be the way to go. Also thinking that maybe next nuclear will probably be built in an island so that there's more room. So coming back here, I had to put like randomly these smelting columns here because there was not enough resources coming to launch the rocket. But here it is. We've launched 71 satellites, and if it wasn't for the version change, I would probably play this a little longer. Unfortunately, the version did change, and I wanted to try out the new version. So let me show you what that looks like. So basically, the idea of this one was I started out, I just wanted to check out point 18, and halfway through, I got really tired of belt weaving. So I decided that this base was not going to have any belts. So as soon as I got to utility science, I immediately picked up all the belts. You can see on the side there, the 800 and something red belts was what was being used. And then, yeah, I converted everything to robots. Currently, we're running 10K logistics and nearly 1,000 construction. There's quite a lot to learn. I enabled the debugging, so even the outposts are all using robots. This is much better now because I've invested heavily into robot working speed. I'm up to 10 now. Hopefully we'll keep going. But I gotta say, this is an awful idea. This has gotta be like the worst idea I've had. Belts don't cost any power. Robots cost a lot of power. So if we take a look, 700 megawatts is just on robots, and this is normal running costs. If you take a look, every time a combined train, like imagine 2 or 3 trains unload at the same time at the main base, it has a huge spike in electricity. And if you look over time, I have a lot of flat spots where things actually like stop working because the robots sucked all the power, and then because the base is powered by robots, if the robots don't have power, it doesn't work out. Throughput of the base is pretty decent. We're at 100. My goal was 250 before I realized what robots work and how do they work. So right now we're actually capped by the number of laboratories. The problem that I can't put more is because if I put more, the base can't maintain. I basically need to add a lot more outposts. I finally found a couple of down here and a couple of them down here. Basically, iron and copper are not enough and not plenty enough with the 3 outposts of each that I have right now. So I can't put the next extra layer of labs because it will consume the rest of the base. It was a cool experience to do robots. In terms of like building, it's much more space efficient, as you can see. So this is a pretty large base with a heavy throughput, and I don't have the belts to follow, so I guess we'll just walk around. So this was the first big refinery that I've have. So most of these are like furnaces making steel. This is my mall, ammo, intermediate components, and then most of the components that I needed to build. So cement, logistics chests, trains, that kind of stuff. I left this space open because like the goal was to fill this up with labs and such. This was the original power supply. As you could tell, I needed a lot of it, and I still use a lot of it. So not the greatest steam power. It consumes all of my coal, but I need it. I can't turn it off. And I even have a few nuclear powers, quad setups. 1, 2, and then up here I got another one. A much better setup. It's all ratioed correctly this time, not like the other ones I've built. And I do have the steam tanks in the middle to give me some breathing room if I run out of uranium, the glowy uranium, or if I don't. So it's a much better build. I think I'll keep this build for a while, maybe even think of how to add 4 more reactors and how big this will get. So this was the first train station. Again, I used quad rails and did a little space efficiency thing for a while there. I was using solar to keep things going, and this is what it looks like. So if I walk you through it, most of them have solar panels in the middle. The rails, like I said, this time they actually can do roundabouts. So once into the roundabout, they can come out anywhere, and that helped a lot organizing the trains and make sure there was no throughput bottlenecks. Same thing with the double lane coming into, and a lot of signaling to allow multiple trains to come in and out at the same time. It's I always like to stop here a little bit. It's kind of mesmerizing just seeing the robots do their thing. So red science here, the goal was 250 per second at this rate, but like I said, not enough core resources to actually pull through to that. Then blue science here. Then we go into production science. It's already getting quite big. As you can see, there's a lot of refineries everywhere. The other train station, this one's not fully in use. Eventually, if I keep going in this save, it will. Probably won't keep going in this save because I kind of want to do something else now. This is yellow science, absolutely huge. Utility science, and then finally down here, rocket parts. So yeah, pretty interesting setup. Just to give you a look, this is what an outpost looks like. So a few roboports, my automated turrets. Pollution is quite heavy, so I'm constantly attacked. And that's the problem right now with this save, is that I kind of don't want to keep going because I would have to invest a lot of time and resources just to clear everything out to get the new resources. But I'd rather do that in a new save. So yeah, that's my last two playthroughs of Factorio. About 70-75 hours each map. I'm excited to try a new idea. Basically, I kind of want to try having one single train to deliver all the resources. One big long train. Silly challenge, but just to have some fun. Probably will put a video up in a few months showing what that looks like.